My name is Dr. Brooke Silberhorn, and I am the owner and chiropractor at Thrive Chiropractic in Ocala, Florida. Today, I'm going to share with you part 1 of 12 stages of healing and the first of 12 exercises called SomatoRespiratory Integration, which was developed by chiropractor Dr. Donald Epstein. In our office, we call these exercises body connection because that is literally what happens. It facilitates and reinforces the body connection between the brain and the body that we achieve through the chiropractic adjustment. In our society, we tend to want to not feel. If we have a symptom that we perceive to be negative, we want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. But what we have found is that when you lean in to whatever it is you're feeling, if you connect to that, that you are more likely to be aware and heal. So often when we override what we're feeling and thinking, it's literally like we're a ship, a rudderless ship on the ocean, allowing the ocean to guide where we go rather than being the captain and determining our own destination. So with body connection, we want you to be more connected to yourself. We want you to be an active participant in your life and in your health and healing. That's the goal. So body connection exercises don't replace the chiropractic adjustment, but what they do is to reinforce what we've achieved through the adjustment. It is the epitome of being present within yourself. So take a few moments, follow along, and lean in. Stage 1. Stage 1 of body connection is recognizing suffering. We all suffer. In fact, this time in our world is probably one of the greatest sufferings that we as a collective humanity have endured. Yet suffering is necessary. Suffering helps us to lean in, to pay attention to what we are feeling, what we are experiencing, what is happening to us. It gives us something to learn from. Let me ask you, have you ever been in a fight with your spouse or a coworker or your boss or your child? Maybe you did absolutely nothing wrong, and so you maintain that stance that you did nothing wrong. But the other person keeps bringing it back. They won't let it go. They keep bringing it back. When you come to a place of realization that if you just acknowledge where they're coming from, that the entire situation diffuses. If your spouse keeps saying, but you did this, and I felt like this, because you did this, if you just take a step back and say, I understand how this happened and this happened, and you were really frustrated by that. I would be frustrated too if I were in your situation. It is amazing how it completely diffuses the symptoms of the problem. It takes away all of that frustration and pain just by acknowledging what they are feeling. And our bodies are the exact same way. When we acknowledge where that suffering is, where that pain is, so often the pain just dissolves away. So, there's a few things that I'm going to kind of lay as foundational pieces as we move into the stage 1 exercise. Breathing into whatever you're feeling, if it's a restriction, if it's a pain, when you breathe into it, it's literally telling your body, tell me more. The more you feel, the more you will reconnect, and your body will connect with your brain, and your brain will start to create just better facilitation of function throughout your body. Okay, so first steps. We are going to place our hands on 3 different positions. The first position is right here on your sternum. The second position is at your rib cage where it comes to a point, which is called the xiphoid process, so right over that. And then the third position is just over your belly button. The other thing that I will point out is that I'm doing these exercises seated so that you can more easily see how to do them, but they are amazingly effective when you are laying on your back with your feet planted on the ground or the floor, or like this bench here that I'm using, the adjusting table, and your knees up in the air. So first of all, we're going to do an assessment of where our body needs to be, needs the most work, where there's restriction. So to do this assessment, we're going to breathe 3 times in and out at each one of the spots. For stage 1, we will breathe in our nose and out our mouth. And I want you to feel, is breathing in easier? Is breathing out easier? Where is there restriction? Which area is more difficult? So I'm going to start. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I'm feeling for, just so you have a better understanding, is I want to feel a lift when I breathe in and a drop when I breathe out. And wherever I have my hands, I want to feel that focused area, the breath right there, instead of feeling full breath wave. We want to feel focused in this area. So for me, it was easy to do area 1, and it was easy to do area 2, but this area right here was difficult. So the next thing that you want to do now that you've made that assessment is to breathe 2 breaths into an area that is easy, and then 2 breaths into an area that is difficult, and go back and forth until you feel a shift in the area that was difficult. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so a little more information that I just think is so fascinating is that these areas have different meanings. So this first position is basically related to our love of others, and the lift is relating to giving love to others, and the drop, when we breathe out, is related to receiving love from others. Position 2 is related to our self-love, And again, the lift is related to giving, the drop is related to receiving. And then the third position relates to our personal power. Okay, so now that we've done the assessment and the first part of the breathing exercise, the last part is taking it one step further, digging in a little bit more into the suffering. So for me, breathing in at position 2 was just a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in, and before I exhale, I'm going to say a statement that, again, just helps drive home that I'm recognizing that suffering within myself. If you found that the drop or the breathing out was more difficult, then you will want to wait until after you exhale completely to say the statement. Okay, let's get started. Sometimes I feel disconnected here. Sometimes I feel like nothing works. Sometimes I feel like it's never going to end. And then what you can do at the end of the exercise to really help your nervous system to integrate what you've just done is to cover your eyes in safety and peace. Hopefully you can still hear me. Cover your eyes for just a minute. Take a couple breaths in and out. And that is it. So as a recap, this is how we do stage 1, recognizing suffering of SRI or body connection. Is you're going to assess at positions 1, 2, and 3 breaths each. And then when you find what is more difficult, whether it's the breathing in and the lift, or the breathing out and the drop, whatever is the most difficult position, then you're going to go back and forth between the easiest and the more difficult, wherever it is. It could be any one of the 3. Go back and forth until you feel a shift, and then you'll end with focusing on that area that was most difficult and saying your statements after each breath. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that it helps you to lean into whatever suffering you are facing right now, whether it is a physical symptom, an emotional stressor that you are facing in your life. And I look forward to sharing more of these exercises with you in the future. Have a great day.